Lesson 7-2, Day 2, Dividing Monomials. Our essential question is, how do you simplify an expression with negative exponents? So we have one new property today. It's the negative exponent property. And what I want you to notice is that it says a to the negative nth power, meaning the exponent is negative, equals 1 over a to the nth power. What that means is that it's a reciprocal. It's a reciprocal. Remember that a reciprocal is when you flip a fraction over. So a to the negative n over 1 equals 1 over a to the n. So it's a reciprocal where the 1 moves from the denominator to the numerator, and then the exponent moves from the numerator to the denominator, and the exponent turns into a positive when you do that. So if you see a negative exponent, so any terms with negative exponents need to move. That's what I want you to remember. So think move it, move it. Any terms with negative exponents need to move. If they are on the top of a fraction, they move to the bottom to become positive. If they're on the bottom of a fraction, they move to the top to become positive, because a reciprocal means you're flipping that fraction around. And it's only the piece with the negative exponent that flips, not the rest of the term. Okay? So let's try this out. So we have a couple of examples here. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to move the ones that have negative exponents on them. So circle the terms that have negative exponents. If it's on the top of the fraction, it's going to move to the bottom, like this, to become positive. If it's on the bottom, it's going to move to the top to become positive. And then I have that y to the 9th up on the top already. That gets to stay right where it is, because it didn't have a negative exponent on it. So only move the variables with the negative exponents. And after you move them, they're positive exponents. Okay, the next one. I have just one negative exponent. It's on the top of the fraction. Put it on the bottom. The rest of them get to stay where they were. So 3x to the 5th and 9z to the 3rd. And now I can do a little bit of simplifying on this one, because 3/9 would reduce to 1/3. So in simplified form, I would have just x to the 5th over 3y squared z to the 3rd power, like that. In the numerator, the 1 I don't need to write, because 1x to the 5th is just x to the 5th. My next set of examples, I've got a lot of negative exponents here, a lot of them. So I am actually going to have to move pretty much everything here. So both of these go to the bottom. They become x to the 1st and y to the 6th. Both of these go to the top. X to the 3rd, y to the 2nd. Now I can do some expanding and simplify this. Okay, so 1x cancels out, 2 y's cancel out, and what I have left, x to the 2nd on the top of the fraction, and y to the 4th in the denominator. Now you might be thinking about the shortcut that we talked about for day 1. Look what happens if I subtract these exponents. Subtracting these exponents, I would get chunky plus here and here. So I would get x to the negative 1 plus 3 is second power and y to the negative fourth power. So then you would still have to understand that that negative exponent, when you read the directions over here, it says your answer should contain only positive exponents. So that's why using this shortcut method, you aren't going to be able to keep your answer written as x squared y to the negative fourth. Your answer has to be written with only positive exponents. So you have to show your understanding of the negative exponent, meaning the reciprocal, by writing it on the bottom of the fraction. All right, next example. I'm going to start out on this one by doing a little reducing. I know 5 goes into 15 3 times, and 5 goes into 75 15 times. Well, that means that I could actually reduce that one more. How about 15 goes into 15 once, and 15 goes into 75 5 times. Okay, now let's move some of these negative exponents around. So I've got just a 5 in my numerator. I don't need the one in the denominator. M to the fifth on the bottom of my fraction, M to the fourth, and R to the eighth on the top of the fraction. And then I had P to the third and P to the fifth that didn't have to move, so I don't want to forget about those. Okay, now to simplify this, 5 M to the fourth, R to the eighth, P to the third, and then I've got M to the fifth, okay, so I can cancel out 4 M's, I can cancel out 3 P's, and now I think I'm ready to go. When you're doing your reducing, you should never have the same variable in the numerator and denominator anymore. So your goal is that each of those variables should occur only once. Whether they're in the numerator or denominator, it doesn't matter. So now in the numerator for my final answer, I have 5, and I've still got this R to the eighth. That didn't change. But in the denominator, I have M, P to the second power. So there's my simplified fraction. Okay, one more set of examples. Negative exponents. So the negative exponents need to move. So 2 of them from the top, 2 of them from the bottom. So on the bottom I will have C to the first and E to the third. On the top, D to the second, E to the third. And then what gets to stay where it was? D to the 0 power and C to the 5th power. Now D to the 0 power equals 1, so I don't need to worry about that. I can expand the rest. Okay, now let's cancel out 3 E's on each, and that looks like all. So on the top of the fraction I have D to the second, and on the bottom, if I put all of my C's together, I now have C to the 6th power. So there is my answer, D to the second divided by C to the 6th. Okay, our last one. I'm going to start this one out by taking a look at this fraction in front. Negative 4/16 reduces to negative 1/4. So negative 1 over 4. Now, I'm going to move my negative exponents. These 2 to the bottom, so K to the 4th, N to the 5th, this one to the top,
n to the 7th, and then I'm leaving everything else where it was. So m, k to the 5th, m to the 3rd. Now, expanding this, and on the bottom, we've got a lot going on here. Okay, so I can cancel out. Let's see, an m here and an m here. And 1, 2, 3, 3, 2 more, 2 more. Okay, that's it. So my final answer, on the top I have negative 1 n squared. In the bottom of the fraction I have 4, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, k to the 9th, and m to the 2nd. Just like that. You should be able to write your summary now. And here are your homework problems. Please take your time. Please consider expanding them and really analyzing them instead of trying to remember all of the shortcut rules, because now we've had a lot of different rules with multiplying, with dividing, with the zero product property, with the zero power property, and the negative exponent property. We've got a lot of different properties. So please take your time and see if you can visualize these problems.